You're on a hill, you know. Doesn't
I
help
can,
if it
I
matters
can
any.
get down. Do you want to be taller?
Yeah,
You
no.
can be-
Tall enough, thank you.
Good morning, guys. It has been a while since we posted a video. I think the last one I did was of the rides at Disneyland. And we have since, we stayed 10 days out at Palm Springs, 1,000 Trails, and it was restful, it was relaxing, and honestly, we needed the break. But we found it just by accident a different area. Now, where we're at now, we had originally only planned on staying here for a couple days. We really didn't.
No
Well,
definite plans.
We are now going on our 7th day here, and let me show you where we're at. We'll see if we can't turn around here and see. We are at the BLM South Joshua Tree dispersed camping area. We found it quite by accident. We were just looking for some place to stop in between Palm Springs and Quartzsite just to take a few days for ourselves to relax. And
It's definitely quiet out here.
it has been so quiet. We've found stars. We've, for the first time in
And the dogs.
a long
Having
time,
fun.
Chance gets free reign. He's been running around, and he loves it here, and we've been loving it here. The longer that we stayed here, the more history we found of the area. And this area, we didn't know it to begin with, but looking at satellite images and so forth of the area, discovered that this was a huge training area in World War II. It trained somewhere around 800,000 to 1 million troops, depending on what you read, and it was all developed and orchestrated by General Patton. So this morning, I just thought, you know, it's been a while since we put out a video, and we need to get this one out, but we also want to go and get some breakfast. And so we're going to take you along. I'll show you the ride getting out of here, and just up, just a short ride from here is Chiraco I've heard it pronounced Chiraco Summit. And it's where the George Patton Museum is. We've got another video of that. I don't know if I'll include that in this video or not, but we're going to take off, and I'll take you along with us. So,
Food.
Go get some food.
The Mojave Desert, a vast, foreboding expanse of sand, sun, and wind. A harsh and rugged landscape, broken by jagged ranges and steep ridges. Revered by its original native inhabitants, but a daunting environment to those unaccustomed to its extremes. And yet, this is where 1 million young Americans came to train for battle during World War II. Where our soldiers built the skills and resilience needed to win in combat. In this gritty endeavor, millions of acres, designated as the Desert Training Center, became both foe and friend. Just 50 miles east of Palm Springs lies the western boundary of the Desert Training Center. The largest military reservation in U.S. history, it encompassed 18,000 square miles spread across Arizona, Nevada, and California. There are still remains from that time. Road grids and crumbling foundations are mute testimony to the enormity of what took place. With war declared, the United States found itself unprepared to fight the Axis powers. The entire army consisted of less than 200,000 troops, with only one battle-ready division. The Army turned to General George S. Patton, Jr. to find an appropriate locale to train the troops for the rigors of desert warfare. Patton and his staff explored the Mojave in March of 1942 and found it an ideal location, exclaiming, "We cannot train troops to fight in the desert of North Africa by training in the swamps of Georgia."
And the Army really wanted a place where they could practice maneuvers with large numbers of troops, with large units, operating together over a wide area.
They came with a can-do spirit to create the roads, structures, and utilities necessary for a massive training center, all within a few short months.
The camps had a plan. The areas were completely bulldozed. They were cleared. Boulevards were laid out. Streets were laid out. And it wasn't random.
The company streets were set up with 2 rows of tents with an assembly area in between. So there was a very regimented Army fashion of setting up the camps.
Most new soldiers came from east of the Mississippi and were unprepared for the sight that awaited them after their long train ride west.
They were told maybe that they were going to California, and they were thinking of Hollywood and the beaches, and they were really excited about their new duty station. And the vast majority of them rode the train. They're told to get off the train, and here they are in this vast wasteland.
You should have heard some of these guys cuss in California. But you can't blame them not seeing any place else in the state and then dropping them off here in no man's land.
For trainees, these camps in the middle of nowhere were home for the next several months. Soldiers did what they could to make the best of the situation.
The men really took pride in their specific areas, and there's lots of instances where unit symbols were spelled out in rocks with painstaking detail to find just the right color to get the unit symbol just right. And lots of stories of men sweeping their company area. Here they were out in the middle of the desert, but there's brooms out sweeping the company streets and the reveille areas, and you can see a lot of pride in those units and in the unit areas.
The decision to have the rock alignments and the divisional emblems and things like this may be more a product of the individual troops showing pride or making the landscape when they were out here for their period of training.
In April of 1944, just 2 years after its inception, the Desert Training Center was decommissioned, having served its purpose well. Its remnants are slowly being reclaimed by the desert. And yet, Patton's legacy survives in the methods and rigors of desert training, still valued by today's military. The men, the guns, the mock battles are gone now. Faded tank tracks and airstrips, ghostly grids of tent cities. These bear witness to the momentous effort and sacrifice that began with Patton's vision here, in a desolate corner of America, and ended in victory in the heartland of Germany and the coral atolls in the Pacific. A story of trial and triumph entombed in the former Desert Training Center and Rice Army Airfield in the sands of the Mojave, freedom's desert.
let's go for a ride.
Maybe I'm the type that lets love walk by, and maybe it's not meant for me. There was something in the way that the moon shined bright. They said keep looking and you'll see. I was ready to give up, I was ready to stop, but something kept on pushing me. So I stumbled in the door, drank a couple more, and then it happened finally. And when you walked in the room, you know my whole world changed. You turned around and I swore I'd never feel the same. How could I make you mine? You're the reason that I dream now. So come away with me. You're the reason that I dream now. You're the reason I believe now. Taking all the wrong steps, your voice was like a melody, taking me away from this messed up place. Saying come away with me. I was ready to give up, I was ready to stop, but something kept on pushing me. And when I saw your eyes, I finally realized I was staring at the missing piece. And when you walked in the room, you know my whole world changed. You turned around and I swore I'd never feel the same. How could I make you mine? You're the reason that I dream now. So come away with me. You're the reason that I dream now. You're the reason I believe now. We bring the ship to shore. You're the stars in the sky I was looking for. You're the diamond of my life. With you by my side, I know that I'll be alright. You're the reason, come away with me. You're the reason I believe. And when you walked in the room, you know my whole world changed. You turned around and I swore I'd never feel the same. How could I make you mine? You're the reason that I dream now. So come away. And when you walked in the room, you know my whole world changed. You turned around and I swore I'd never feel the same. How could I make you mine? You're the reason that I dream now. So come away with me. You're the reason that I dream.
So I'm guessing that ride from where we camped at was about, what did you say, about 15 minutes? So, not too far. Nice little ride.
6 miles.
6 miles? Yeah, I think it's five or 6 miles. They have some interesting reading here at the table, some books that kind of included along here. How to get along without your memory. How to confuse the idiots in your life. Oh my gosh, they're really, what table did we get here?
They're all kind of.
I can't make it up. These were really at the table. So we have some interesting reading while we're waiting for our food, at the very least. You got eggs, hash browns, and toast. You got some biscuits and gravy. We're gonna enjoy.
Biscuits and gravy.
So we just asked how you pronounce the name, and she said Chiraco?
Chiraco.
Chiraco. So there you go. We were close. It's kind of, we were both sides of it. not quite. Not Chiraco, not Chiraco, Chiraco. We just came out of breakfast and it was good. The prices were reasonable and would come back. So I think we've got someplace we want to check out. I spotted on the satellite. We're going to see if we can't go check out this area, maybe find a souvenir if we're at all lucky. So we'll take you along. We found the General Patton Museum.
Even I can figure it out. It's a pretty good representation.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kind of knew what was here, but didn't really. I mean, knew there was something here, but it's kind of pretty. Lots of dedications and memorials to different people. This one is to the Chiraco family. Chiraco. Pretty nice up here. We haven't gone into the museum. We've walked around the museum. I don't know if we'll go in or not. That's what?
Mexican restaurant.
Just can't help but kind of stick our nose into the windows here and see what's going on. But I see an old Mustang, at least right here, through the glass. Oh yeah, whoa, lots of cars. And I don't know if you can see that or not. There is a pile of cars here. Looks like somebody's collection. And that is the Chiraco Summit Airport. I don't know if you can read the sign from here or not. But it's all fenced off and it looks like it's an active airport. Not sure who would land here, but interesting, some of the stuff you find out in the middle of nowhere. Good? So we're in front of the memorial. I have 11 minutes left. I can see on my camera. I have 11 minutes left. So we're gonna have to make this really quick. But we're in front of the memorial for Camp Young, a historical marker, I should say. It's not really, well, it is kind of a memorial.
Yeah.
We were just kind of reading it over, and one of the things I don't think I realize, and I don't know how accurate it is. It's the first I've heard of it. But
Definitely not good at history.
yeah. So if you read this one right here, this basically goes down about Camp Young. But this one here, this monument is dedicated to all those soldiers that served here, and especially for those who gave their lives in battle, ending the Holocaust and defeating the armed forces of Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan. Did we go to war with Italy? I do not remember fighting the Italians, but I enjoy my spaghetti. All right, so we're gonna walk around here and kind of check it out and see if there's anything to see, and I'll turn the camera on if we find any souvenirs or anything to look at. So one of the first things that we see when we're here is this row of rocks, and these were generally done by the troops themselves. They weren't necessarily ordered by the officers, but they like to designate their areas, and one of the easiest way to do that was to pick up the rocks, and it was kind of a pride thing in their location. So you can see this rock lineway. Now I don't know if this was a road or if this marked a company area, and apparently they like Tecate beer. No, that's not. It's not. Let's see here. Just looking at this one, I just shut the camera off, but I don't know if you can see it or not. This row of rocks goes on and on a long way. No idea what that is. Huh. In our souvenir hunting today, you have to realize it's been 70 years of souvenir hunters coming out here looking for different things, and there have been in some of the range areas, there have been practice mines and grenades, and reading up on it, there's been all kinds of strange stuff, including people and kids getting injured. So, oh, there's another, you can see right there. Hard to believe this was stacked 70 years ago, and they're still sitting. The sand is blown up against them, so they're not quite as tall as they used to be. But there's another row of rocks, kind of making an area. So yeah, the souvenirs have been pretty picked over. So if we actually find something, I'll be surprised. Lots of boards and nails. Found a wing nut. Oh, you did. Yeah. Oh, wing nut. Oh. buckle of some sort for a strap, maybe. Oh, we got 2 minutes. So we got 2 minutes to explain what we found. So we drove around, or drove around. We walked around for the last hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So here, I'm going to set you on top of the monument here, and we'll just show you kind of what we found in our searching around. Found a lid with some green paint still visible on it. Looks like it was to like an oil can or something. Not sure exactly what. I'd say the most interesting thing we found was a part of a pocket watch, we're guessing, with springs still attached. We searched the area all around, couldn't find any more parts of it, so it's likely a pack rat may have hauled off the shiny parts. I don't know. Looks like there is a little bit of writing, so I may hold on to this just to kind of clean that up and see if I can see any of the writing on it and get a little more information on it. If I do, I'll fill you in on that if it's interesting. We filmed finding the buckle. These were pretty common. They were just about on everything. The can opener cans with a church key. That one still has the metal wrapped around it. So one of the other interesting finds was obviously military can of some sort. Still has the OD green paint on it. Not sure exactly what that was for. A wing nut. Not sure what that is. It looks like it used to be some sort of tool. Ooh. So we found this little what? There, are we back on? We're back on. Wouldn't you know it? It doesn't matter. No matter how much I try to conserve on battery or SD card, the camera died. So yeah, that was the thing I was just about getting ready to show you. Looks like a snuff can, and it's sealed up still, and it's rusted shut. But you know, I want to pry it open and see if there's anything in it. So we'll do that back at camp. And because it's been about 70 years since this was opened, so we'll see if there's anything still left in it. And another church key from a can. We found a few of these over along with bolts. These look like the ends are melted, so I'm thinking these are what's left of welding rods, and we may have been in a maintenance area, because while we were over there we found various nuts, bolts, and assorted other things. So, but I think that is just about all we managed to find in about an hour. Oh, and there was a clasp or something. Definitely, it's heavy, thick iron, metal, and broke off. And you can still see the green paint that was left on it. Not sure what that was to, but still interesting nonetheless. I think that's about all we managed to find. We're probably going to hold on to our church keys as mementos, and I'll hold on to this so I can see if we can figure out what's written on there, and see if we can identify that a little bit better. But I think that's all we're going to keep. We're going to put the rest of this stuff right here at the base of the sign, and we're going to get going to our next area. walked around the desert and checked out what I thought was a rifle range and a pistol range. We checked them both out, and I'm not getting the telltale signs that it was a rifle range or pistol range. So we did find a number of different things around the desert just walking.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool little can. Looks like, almost looks like a medicine bottle. We're going to clean it up and see if we can get something better out of that. But now we don't have a backpack, and we've got to try to figure out how to get these back on bikes. That should be fun. We're going to head on back, and I won't be able to mess with the camera. We'll see you later. Bye. Okay, so we found yesterday, so it's the next day, we found this little deal. It's about the size of a silver dollar, I guess. It is heavy, so it almost feels like there might be something in there. I am assuming it's probably a snuff can. I don't have a lot of experience with snuff, but this looks like one of the little cans that could have possibly been used for that, but God only knows. So we tried looking up the watch plate that we found yesterday, and there is a serial number on it, but we can't. I tried Googling it. Google is your friend, and can't find any information on that thing. So I'm going to see here. I'm going to hand this to Karen and have you see if we can film this thing. Let's see if we can get this thing open. My guess is it's probably going to have a lot of nothing inside.
Dust.
Yeah. But since it is a enclosed can, and
Well,
you just never know, and it looks like it might open up if I can get a little bit more of this here.
ooh. See Dave pry, see Dave bleed.
No bleeding. No bleeding. It's not
It's coming off.
solid. Oh, it is shiny in there.
And it's turned to a tarry substance.
You know, I just don't have any clue what that is, other than maybe a grease of some sort. It's definitely
Who knows after how many years
Se-
of 100-degree weather and
70 years. This is what's left. It may have been a grease of some sort. You know, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's black, and while the outside is rusted, the inside looks like it stayed fairly dry.
Smell it. Smells like a tobacco product.
It does smell like it might be a tobacco product, so this could have been snuff. My guess is it probably
It's
was.
been cooked.
It's definitely been cooked. And
Yeah, it smells
yeah,
tobacco-ish.
yeah, it does smell tobacco-ish. So there you go. That's what was inside that little can. Well, it was all sealed up. I was curious.
Cool.
And I knew it was heavy. I knew it had something in it. I just couldn't tell you what it was. So, can the camera get it? Is the camera getting it?
Yeah.
So if you know what it is and you want to make a comment on what it was, make a comment below what your thoughts were on what it was. Whatever it is has been sitting out in the sun baking for the last 70 years. So thanks so much for watching. I think we're going to try to post this video. I'm going to try to get this video out today if possible. And that's it.
Hello, my beautiful sweet girl.